Welcome to another...
I'm ready!
Nope, not that one.
No.
Not that one.
I was ready.
I just forgot words.
Words are tough.
Alright, let's try this again.
Thanks for listening to Middle-Aged and Mediocre. I'm Cash.
I'm Joel.
And we are a podcast about all things strange and unusual, death and UFOs, and other creepy,
Cults,
weird, random
ghosts.
shit. There you go.
Yeah. No, I'm just naming things in the room.
Oh my god.
There's a cult of ghosts.
And welcome to another episode of Middle-Aged and Mediocre. Episode is a hard word for me to say today. I'm Cash, joined as always by my co-host, MC Scaly Scroat. No, that's Joel over there. What's going on, man?
Stop at the whole Joel.
Stop at the whole Joel.
Just out here living.
Just living. Just
Livin.
MC and Christmas parades
Yep,
left
that's right.
and or right.
You heard about it.
I heard a tale too.
It made the papers.
So I gotta ask though,
Uh-huh.
how much of that Christmas parade MC fangirl pussy did you get?
Oh! I mean, I just lost count after a while.
I figured you just had them lining up.
I mean, someone brought me a hot chocolate.
Okay.
Someone brought me a candy cane.
Wow.
Someone else brought me a sucker.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Someone offered to help me carry
Joel,
my sound system
in
away.
in a parade. Those
Yeah.
are just, they throw those things.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they didn't bring them to
No, I
you.
had to fight some little kids for this shit.
Oh, okay.
But I could tell they were throwing it at me.
Yeah.
And I had a microphone, so I could choke them with it.
And you said you were like basically the mayor of the town.
Oh, yeah. Mayor McParade.
Parade king.
I was up on the courthouse steps with the microphone, live mic.
That's...
Big mistake.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But no, you're a good boy.
Yeah, I was a very good boy.
Yeah, you wouldn't do anything.
I set up and I started playing Christmas music, and then people started like wanting requests, Christmas song requests, and I would play it just for the smiles on their face and the $100 they paid me to do it, but also the smiles on their face. But it was such a flyby the seat of our pants thing. They hadn't had it in 3 years because of the COVID. Remember that? Mm-mm. Okay, well, it was around. Let's stop shit.
I'll take
no parades outdoors.
That doesn't make sense.
And it was shit. What town? It's also a West Virginia name. I don't know. Piketon is what it was called. Waverly, Ohio. Yeah, Piketon. But yeah, they didn't have it. But they had it this year, and it was just the guy that hired me would be down on the street trying to read the trucks. He'd yell it up to me, and I'd yell it into the microphone, And I met Santa before the parade, and I made him laugh.
Yeah.
No big deal.
Well,
it was a hearty laugh. He was
yeah.
like he laughed, and he caught himself. He's like, I'm Santa fucking Claus. So he had to ho-ho it up.
You shouldn't have said that.
And then he was like, remember, I'm from the North Pole. And I was like, Santa, I don't tell you how to do your job. Don't tell me how to do my job. So Santa was like the third float, And I was like, from the North Pole. I was like fucking UFC announcer, Santa Claus! And Santa pointed at me, and we kind of did like a winky face to each other. But then 4 floats later,
is this how you tell me you and Santa are starting a podcast?
it's already, we got 4 eps in the can. He's so much better at the intro. I try to mess him up, and he doesn't. But they had another Santa 4 floats later. So I was like, all right,
Chris, different guy?
Kringle, yeah, completely different guy. So I called him Chris Kringle, and Santa kind of shot me a look, and I was like, look, there can't be more than one fucking Santa Claus, And then another 4 or 5 floats, a third Santa. And this time I was just like, Jesus Christ! I said it in the microphone, and they were pissed because he was actually the next float. Yeah.
Yeah.
But there were 3 Santas, but I only introduced the first one as Santa. The third Santa, I didn't say Jesus Christ, but I was
protecting the children.
I was just like, Merry Christmas!
Yeah, you're...
what the fuck? It wasn't even that long of a parade. They're like, we need more Santas.
Yeah, there were 7 cars.
Yeah. Mostly Jeeps, but yeah, it was a small town Ohio. It was fun. Whatever.
3 Santas.
I'm trying to get out of town and do more comedy. I went and hosted that show, and did 15 minutes on the dot, no notes, on my second show of the year.
Go.
So I was pretty happy about that.
There you go.
I have another show coming up.
And you said it was in... Where'd you say it was?
Well, Marietta, show Friday. I don't count the open mic. I'm going back to Jackson for an open mic Thursday, December 1st, but then Friday, December 2nd. Yeah. 7 o'clock, Monsters Horror, 313 Putnam
We got
Street.
a table.
Yep. He got a table. I'm hosting, so I should get something.
We're getting snacks. We're getting beverages.
Yep. Foot massages.
Foot massages is what I was told.
Yep.
By you on the stage during your set.
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone
You're
out
gonna
there.
use my big toes and mic.
But yeah, that's why we didn't record Saturday, because I was out emceeing a Christmas parade.
Yeah. You chose
Fulfilling
Christmas over this podcast.
Before Thanksgiving, even.
It was
so
you were
fucking
telling me
weird.
about it, and I was like, this is the dumbest shit I've ever heard.
You're perfect for it, Joe.
I would have liked to have went to, because you said like there's 2 mics.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I could have like faked any enthusiasm.
Oh, I faked it so well. I was like, it's the Agriculture Club!
Yeah. I couldn't trust myself not
and
to
it'd be the firefighters that were like, thanks, fellas!
Okay.
I was like moonwalking back across the fucking courthouse steps.
You were like Homer when the episode where he becomes the baseball mascot.
Yeah, that was me practically.
Dancing Homer. Yep. You were dancing Joel.
I was.
All right. Well, you've had a lot more excitement in your life than I have the past few weeks.
Yeah. How's that feel?
It's all right.
Okay.
I don't yearn for excitement.
Yeah, I've had a pretty slow year, so it's fun to kind of do some stuff here towards the end.
Just pack it all into the end.
Pack it all in.
That's what you got to do.
Yep.
I'm actually pretty upset today.
Oh,
yeah. Ohio State just got absolutely blown out by Michigan.
Oh, I thought you were maybe upset about the tie yesterday, England versus
That
USA.
also was upsetting.
How about, man, I
watched
watched all of that. So did I.
Did you? I did too.
I was at my sister's because I just got back from traveling, and everyone was like, why are we watching this? And I was like, I don't know. I was like,
don't know why I
turn it
watched
if you want. I was like, I just want to see what happens. And
Yeah.
nothing happens, apparently.
Nothing.
And like the ESPN headline was like, USA dominates in tie.
Yeah.
I was like, what? How is someone dominating a tie?
I was reading Twitter, and apparently that game yesterday, USA was amazing.
No.
And the fact that they tied basically means they won.
That's pretty good.
And I don't understand soccer.
I was just doing my own commentary. I was like, "Here, mate, here's the ball. Oh, mate, you take the ball back." I don't know why they're Australian, because they're
Neither team was.
Yeah. Oh, thanks, mate. Here's the ball back to you.
Yeah, I
They
watched
just
the
kicked
whole
it
thing.
back and forth, and it was just.
Field's too big. There's too many people.
Here's my suggestion:
Bigger
goal,
Yeah.
smaller goalies. Goalies can't be above 4 feet. That's a good idea.
So
You're
we get horse jockeys to do it, I think.
Yeah, horse jockeys, and
Yeah.
they make the goals bigger, so the game's going to be like 10-9, 10-8. It's still going to be the midfield,
Yeah.
the defense, shit like that, but more points are going to be scored.
See, I think they should put everybody in pads and helmets.
Yeah.
Go on! And let them use their hands to throw the ball.
Throw the ball.
They can run it, too.
Okay, they can run it.
Yeah. And then
Can they still kick it?
kick it only certain times.
Okay.
They really don't want to.
No.
No. Unless they just scored a touchdown. I think they should add touchdowns.
Can we call it football?
Instead of goals. Yeah.
I mean, I know they call this football, but let's call your idea football, too.
It sounds way more fun. No, I'm sure.
And then you can start betting on it.
I bet on all of it yesterday. I bet on the USA game. I bet on everything.
You bet on my parade.
I bet on your parade.
Like, how many Santas were there? Oh, God damn it, I thought there'd be 4.
I had the under. I did not expect 3. Yeah, I'm sure if I watched soccer, because I watched Ryan Reynolds, where him and Rob from It's Always Sunny bought Wrexham. So I watched that whole documentary on Hulu, which was really good. And I did learn a lot about soccer from that documentary. I do kind of understand pieces of it now. So I'm sure if I watched the sport, I would pick up on all the nuances and
how USA dominated.
How it was that USA was great for some reason yesterday. But yeah, just watching it and just wanting anything to happen.
They get breathed on wrong and they fall down. They're holding themselves.
Yeah, I mean, I get it's in I'm not.
So when you're ready for more soccer news, come back to our podcast. It's like everything else. We don't get it.
I'll go ahead and assume nothing happened.
Now it's USA versus Iran. Iran so far away.
Yeah, USA has. If they win, they advance.
Uh-huh.
England already advanced, basically. I think it was. So England didn't give a shit yesterday, really.
Okay.
But it is the game they invented, and they couldn't beat us.
They couldn't even get a goal. But I hope someone hears my idea about the smaller goalies. Yeah. I think that's a really good idea.
Yeah.
And it'd be cute to watch, too. Who's that famous dude that's on Instagram right now? He's real short, and he punches people.
I have no idea.
You haven't seen that kid? Like, Shaq's met him. It starts with a D. I think he lives over there on, like, guitar or something.
I go out of my way. Oh, you mean fucking,
He fought, like, another little guy.
Yes,
You thought he was a kid at first, but he turns out he's, like, 19, 20. Like, that kid needs to be a goalie. Make him the goalie.
What the fuck is his name?
Clone him. Because I'm sure he... Little guy!
Hezbollah.
Like, put a fat guy in a little coat and see what comes up for that.
It's Hezbollah.
Hezbollah.
He signed a 5-year contract with the UFC.
Jesus.
Just to be like a... Like, there.
Mask, yeah.
Just to show up.
Because anything can happen when Hezbollah's around. See, the soccer world needs him and his little friends to be goalies.
I feel bad for the goalies, man.
Yeah.
That's got to be the toughest thing in the fucking world. Like, because I was watching that yesterday, and there was times when, if I was the goalie, and I mean, the nets are pretty damn big.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, the guy kicks it all the way off to your left, like where there's, all the room. I have no idea how those guys, like, it's actually, that's an impressive.
It's the big Mario gloves.
But I really wish some of them would not fucking do it. Yeah. There would be points. So, yeah, I gambled on.
I like goalies have to be 50 years or older.
Okay.
All right.
That's
this week's episode, everybody.
We have a...
there's more.
Yeah, we have a true crime story for you.
Right.
This one happened not too long ago. Well, I guess now it's been about 11 years.
Make up your mind.
But it's a pretty horrific story.
Oh, good.
About a murder.
Okay.
We're going to do that one.
Yep.
We'll hit an ad break. And
definitely get the ad break.
We're going to be back with a couple of stories about a couple of weirdos.
I thought we just did stories about a couple of weirdos.
These two are weird. So, let's go ahead and start on the true crime story. We're going to go to Mont Vernon, New Hampshire for this one.
All right. Live free or die, isn't that their state motto?
Maybe.
I'm pretty sure it is.
Could be.
Fucking New Hampshire, man.
They watched the Die Hard movie once, and they were like, that's us.
That's the sequel's name, I think.
We see ourselves in that. So this takes place around Halloween. It involves a horrific home invasion. It involves 4 teenage shitheads, and a mother and daughter. So
11 years ago.
October
2011.
13 years ago.
Okay, 2009.
Yes.
Okay.
Math.
I'm just trying to get all the fucking facts out
how do you always say it? Making math?
Yeah, right? Math. I'm always thinking.
So Mont Vernon, New Hampshire, is a small, little remote town surrounded by forests. It looks beautiful. I looked at some pictures of it. It's a very nice place. I'm sure it costs way too much money to live there. But on October 4th, 2009, in the early morning hours, 4 teenagers approached the house where Kimberly and Jamie Cates were alone and asleep. The 4 teenagers were 19-year-old Christopher Gribble, 17-year-old Steven Spader, 17-year-old Quinn Glover, and 18-year-old William Marks. They called themselves the Disciples of Destruction.
Oh.
And had like a little gang. With
good for probably not good for them.
With the goal of causing mayhem.
Oh.
They loved horror movies, horrorcore music, and cults. That was their big thing. Quinn had told the other 3.
And that's cool stuff to like. I mean, you can be into that stuff.
I like all 3 of those things.
Sure.
I'm interested in all 3.
I have a feeling these guys go a little too far with it.
A little bit. So Quinn had told the other 3 that he had once killed a person before, because he was trying to, be badass. Steven told the other 3.
He's like, I killed 2 people before.
He said that he'd been in a gang once. Oh. So he used to be in a gang.
Yeah.
All 4 of these kids are white as shit. This is New Hampshire.
Yeah.
No, he wasn't.
He's like, I've seen Boys in the Hood. How about that?
I watched it once.
Yeah.
They
cable.
That particular night, October 4th, they had sat around. They'd been for a while now discussing what mayhem they wanted to create.
Yeah.
They wanted to commit various crimes.
And this is probably after Fight Club, so I feel like there's these guys, they're Club Mayhem, man.
Yeah, they wanted
Project
to
Mayhem.
They wanted to go on different crime sprees, and just do a bunch of shit all at once.
Really stick it to the man by sticking it to other people first.
So this particular night, though, they had talked about breaking and entering someone's home and robbing them. They, however, had also talked about, like, if somebody's there, if somebody catches us, we will also do what we have to do.
Tickle them.
To not get caught. Tickle them was low on the options. Christopher...
I'd be bad at gangs. I'd get thrown out immediately. I'm like, guys, let's just tickle him for a little bit.
Come on, just tickle each other.
Have you ever, been tickled past the point where it's fun? It's the worst.
If they can survive 20 minutes,
at first it's like, you're tickling me. And they're like, all right, fucking stop it.
I'm not ticklish, though.
But imagine someone just continually trying to tickle you.
It would be annoying as shit.
Right?
But I wouldn't, in a different way. I would, If that was what the gang did, that would maybe be a worse gang to me than Christopher and Steven really hoped someone was home because they desperately wanted to kill somebody. It's all they talked about, those two. William crawled through the window, but found himself locked. They sneak onto the property. What time? It's like early morning. I think it's like 5 in the morning, 4 or 5 in the morning when they do this. So they sneak in. They're trying to find a way to get in. There's like a window down at the bottom of the house. So William, he's the smallest.
Kind of like in Barbarian.
He sneaks through that.
Yeah.
He finds himself locked in the basement.
Oh.
So he's down there. So they keep searching, and then they find another window where the air conditioner's in it.
Yeah.
So they end up being able to push the air conditioner, kind of move it out, and then they can climb in. So they do that. They have an iPad or something like that they're using for light, just enough light to kind of get around. Because they went downstairs as soon as they got there, let William out of the basement, and cut the power. They turned the breaker off. So they use this iPad for light. They're creeping around the place. And Steven finds someone laying in a bed. He tells the other three that, someone's here, but they really couldn't hear him well, so they thought they said that he told them no one's home.
Yeah.
So they just start talking
regular,
normal.
Yeah.
There's no,
It's all about communication.
When they do that, they all of a sudden hear a female voice saying, "Jamie, is that you?" And as soon as they hear it, Steven immediately pulls out a machete and begins slashing at the direction of the voice.
Jesus.
Christopher joins in with a knife that he brought with him, and he starts stabbing in the direction. So the voice belonged to 42-year-old Kimberly Cates. She was a nurse. Everybody said she was just a really sweet person. Her daughter, Jamie Cates, is 11 years old at the time.
Oh.
She's in the same room, and she gets woken up by, all this commotion. Christopher jumps over, stabs her in the face and the lungs, tries to stab her in the heart as she's trying to get away. He ends up basically grabbing her and throwing her through a sliding glass door. And then they place a pillow over Kimberly's face, and Steven continues to stab her. Quinn and William stood by and watched the entire time. Christopher and Steven went back to the circuit breaker when they were done, and turned the lights back on so they could get a good look at what they had done. And it was a bloodbath. There was just blood everywhere. So the 4 teens grabbed a bunch of random shit from around the house, ran back to where their car was, changed their clothes, and they took off. So, that was around 4 in the morning, because at 4:15 a.m., Jamie Cates was still alive. And
was that the mom?
The 11-year-old.
Oh, yeah. Fuck.
And she was able to make a call to the Mont Vernon Police Department.
Jesus.
The police show up. Again, it's a bloodbath. Jamie's jaw, the little 11-year-old girl, her jaw's fractured. Her foot was almost severed. By the time the police gets there, she can't even speak. So, if she hadn't called when she called, she may never have been able to call.
Yeah.
Kimberly's skull was opened up completely. Her eye socket was fractured, and she had been stabbed probably hundreds of times. Jamie's father, Kimberly's husband, he'd been out of town on a business trip, so he gets the news and he's headed back. So the investigation starts, and the 4 teens are trying to cover their tracks. So William gets dropped off at his house. The other 3 go to a friend's house. The friend is named Autumn Savoy. He was going to be their alibi. So, he was going to, if anything did happen, he was going to be able to tell.
No,
they were all through with me all night. We were here all night. They proceed to tell him everything that happened and basically brag about it.
Yeah.
They even showed him the weapons. They planned on going outside of his house, digging a hole, and burning the bloody clothes.
Yeah.
And then burying the remains. But for some reason, I don't know how this conversation went down. If Autumn, I'm assuming, didn't want anything on his property.
Yeah.
So he was like, "Don't do that. I'll take him and I'll get rid of him." So his way of getting rid of them is he just kind of goes to the river and just throws them in.
Swim free clothes.
They apparently at some point he tells the police later on when everything goes to shit that he could see the clothes just kind of floating on the river.
Yeah.
But he assumed that was good enough.
A bear would find them and start wearing them.
He would do the laundry.
Yeah. These guys sound really smart, so they probably planned on the bear.
Yeah, so he heads back to where the other three are. They go out and they later that morning they go out and pawn the items that they stole. They got a whopping $130 for everything. They're at the mall, and there had been some robberies that took place in that area. So the police actually stopped them in the mall that morning to ask them, they thought maybe they might be responsible for some of the robberies. They didn't have any information.
I heard you boys like mayhem.
So yeah, the police basically have these four kids that just killed somebody.
Yeah.
And tried to kill somebody else, and then they're asking about these robberies, so they let them go. This is when the Autumn, Steven, and Quinn all go to, and then somebody else. I'm getting somebody. Christopher. They all go to another friend's house. His name is Kyle Fenton. And just like with Autumn, they just brag about everything that happened. Unlike Autumn, however, Kyle was not cool with any of this shit. As soon as they left, he jumped online real quick just to kind of see if anything they'd said had been true or if they were just full of shit. He sees all the news reports. He immediately tells his mom everything they told him.
Kyle sounds like a good boy.
Yeah, Kyle is,
good boy club right there.
His mom contacts the police, reports it. So, the teens had used bleach and alcohol to clean, the disciples of destruction.
Yeah.
Had used bleach and alcohol to clean the weapons that had been used in the attacks, and then they buried them back in the forest. They then went back to Autumn's house. They're reading everything they can on the internet about what they've done. They're
Yeah.
They're loving it.
Little fucking shitheads.
They do discover, though, that Jamie had survived, even though Kimberly was dead. Steven stated his response when finding this out. Steven's response was, "Well, at least I killed my bitch."
No.
So, yeah.
Well, fuck him.
Steven, Christopher, and Autumn were picked up by the police shortly after, and they're all three interviewed. At first, Autumn stuck to the alibi, told the cops that, no, the other four had been with him the entire night. But not too long after that, he decided to go ahead and tell them everything.
10 minutes later.
I'm assuming the cops basically told him he was full of shit. They knew it.
Yeah.
Told him that he was going to be in a world of shit if he, didn't.
I mean, his name is Autumn.
I'm assuming a few minutes later he was like, "Hey, come back." And, So Steven Spader, he told the police that he had no idea who committed these crimes, but that whoever did it was a sick bastard who should get the death penalty, and that they should skip a trial and go straight to the execution. Then he requested an attorney. So Christopher Gribble initially denied having any knowledge of the events, but after a few hours of being questioned, he tells the cops that he'll tell them everything. But he kind of does it in a way that, whereas Autumn realizes he's in deep shit, Christopher more does it in a way where he's just kind of like, all right, you know what, fuck it. He just kind of accepted that this is probably not going to go his way.
Yeah.
And he was more than willing to share the details. So he tells the police that he and Steven Spader are very similar to each other. They had both grown up with problems in their families. He stated that technically they were both sociopaths, that they had both legally been declared sociopaths by neuropsychologists. He said he wasn't using that as an excuse, however. He just wanted the police to know that. He told them that Steven had said, yeah, we're just going to go in there, grab some stuff. If anybody's in there, we're going to kill them and have some fun. He stated that Kimberly had sat up in bed and started asking who was there and what was going on. She reached over to turn the lamp on. It wouldn't turn on, of course, and as soon as she did that, that's when Steven began hacking at her with the machete. He stated that he was controlled the whole time, completely in control of himself, and he didn't feel anything. He said that he thought he would feel something during all of this, and he felt absolutely nothing. He said that Quinn was the one who had went and turned the lights back on, and that when the lights came on, they could tell that Kimberly obviously wasn't going to live, and that he wasn't really sure that Jamie would live either, but she seemed like there was no chance she was probably going to live. That there was blood just everywhere. So he said that he was actually disappointed that he felt nothing after the attacks. He expected to get like a rush from it.
Yeah.
He said that him and Steven had wanted to kill someone for a long time, and that he expected to feel differently once they had followed through with their plan. He said the only other thing that he was disappointed about was that he hadn't killed Jamie.
Oh.
When questioned about disposing of the bloody clothes, Autumn told the police that he was just doing what he thought his friends wanted him to do. Quinn Glover and William Marks were also arrested very shortly after. Quinn stuck to the alibi that he had been at Autumn's all night.
The one guy.
And asked for a lawyer. William Marks admitted to being involved in the burglary, but said that he had not been involved in the murder. Steven and Christopher were both charged with first-degree murder, conspiracy to commit murder, and attempted murder, as well as witness tampering and burglary. They were held in prison without bail while awaiting trial. William was charged with conspiracy to commit murder, and accomplice to first-degree assault, and burglary. Quinn was charged with conspiracy to commit burglary, which I think, or conspiracy.
He was gonna do it, and he did.
And he did it.
Yeah.
And also robbery. I'm not real sure what the difference between burglary and robbery is. I'm assuming it has something to do with the amounts, like the dollar, the value.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Or just that weapons were involved. Maybe makes it a robbery.
Maybe one of them. Yeah, that might be it.
They're just trying to get.
Yeah,
as
I
much
think
as
robbery.
they can on
Like,
them, just
there has to
try
be like
get
an
these
assault
guys
or
put away.
Yeah. So both William and Quinn made deals with state prosecutors for lesser sentences in return for their testimonies against Steven and Christopher. William would get 30 to 60 years, and Quinn ended up getting 20 to 40. Quinn Glover,
I think that's fair for them. They didn't attack anybody, but that's still a lot of time.
Yeah. Quinn Glover addressed the court and stated that every morsel of food that I eat, every breath of air that I take,
I'll be watching you.
every beat of my heart, I think of what we have done. I know that there's nothing that I can do that will ever atone for my terrible actions. He's basically the only one that showed any remorse.
So he might be getting out of here soon too. If that's 2009, I mean, then should be. But by the time he got sentenced, might have been 2010, 11. But still,
even with Quinn and Williams' testimonies and Christopher's confession, the police were still searching for hard evidence. All four of the teens' house were searched. Police found swords, axes, and knives hidden inside of teddy bears. The bag filled with bloody clothes was recovered from the river, and inside of that bag was a red sweatshirt with "This is Steve's sweatshirt, Steve, who is awesome," written on it. And there were socks with C. Gribble written on them for Christopher Gribble. So they wore clothing with their names on it to their big burglary and murder.
They're pretty,
Steve, who is awesome.
Yeah. Steve, who is awesome.
Steven's trial began in November of 2010, and he pleaded not guilty to all charges.
He pleaded totally awesome.
Yes. He was silent and expressionless during the trial, except for one time when he joked with his attorney and asked him if he thought the jury would sing happy birthday to him. The attorney replied with, "I would say no."
How about you go fuck yourself?
To which Steven replied, "Damn," with a huge grin on his face. Like he's just having a good old time.
Yeah.
Steve had been diagnosed with depression and bipolar disorder, and had spent time in a psychiatric center twice in 2008. His friends and family had both been worried about him for some time. He had been harming himself and using drugs. Eventually, he was kicked out of school. There'd also been 2 different times that he had gotten violent with his parents and the police had been called. So he was kind of headed in this direction.
I don't understand how depression leads to what he did to somebody. I mean, I know it's like, it probably is all factored in, but like, I don't know, like I get down. Right. I don't think like, man, I sure would like to hurt somebody.
Well, I mean,
like, that would make me feel worse.
Usually as soon as you mention depression, like, doctors ask you, you know, do you have thoughts of harming yourself or others?
Yeah.
And one's like, no, just life sucks. Quinn Glover took...
That's our episode! Life sucks!
It certainly does. Quinn Glover took the stand in Steven's trial and stated that Steven had been this way for a while and had been fixated on violence and spoke about it as often as he could. Quinn also said that about a year before the attacks, Steven had started talking more and more about how he would murder someone, and that it was getting pretty clear that Steven was no longer just having violent fantasies, or no longer, like, would settle for just having the fantasies.
Yeah.
He was ramping up to actually do it. He said that Steven would talk about eating people and roasting them alive, how he wanted to put people's heads on stakes, and how he wanted to make scenes out of the bodies for the press to find. Quinn said that while the attacks were going on that night, he covered his ears and walked outside to stop the sound of screaming. William Marks also took the stand in Steven's trial and stated that he had tried to back out of the entire thing. He said that Steven had sent him a text, though, that read, "Are you fucking kidding me? Billy, dude, if you're not back here in 20 minutes, we're going to have problems for real."
Dude.
And this William kid, like, he is, like, very tiny.
Yeah.
He looks like he's, like, he was the kid that got pushed around by all the others. So I kind of believe him when he said he wanted to back out, and they basically told him, "Fuck you, you're doing it." But still, have balls.
Guys, yeah. Still gotta know right from wrong.
And William, at first I'm seeing him in like the footage of like the court, and like I'm like, yeah, you know, I bet he was kind of like forced to do this. He was probably freaking out. But at one point it came out that him and his dad were already discussing selling the rights for his part of the story to publishers. So he was already looking at ways to make bank on this.
So how the fuck would you make money out of this?
I don't know, but fuck him. Like,
I got locked in the basement.
Yeah,
that's my story.
My story.
I was like, hey, this door is not
I was
open.
tiny enough to go through the window, but that was the best I could do. William and Quinn definitely tried to paint themselves as the least guilty of in all. Oh yeah, so William and Quinn, they make themselves stand to be.
Yeah.
We had nothing to do. Like, we just were there. Like, we were going to rob the place.
Yeah.
But we didn't do anything else.
I didn't think it was going to be anything like murder.
I'm pretty sure though they had more involvement than they're admitting. Both said that they never got involved in the attacks, and that they both stood back while they were taking place. So William had told police that it was Quinn who went back down the circuit breaker, and I think Christopher Steven also said that. So 2 people said Quinn's the one that went back down and turned the power on. Quinn said that he'd covered his ears and walked outside during the attacks. But most, like at least 2 of the people agree that he's the one that went and turned the circuit breaker back on. So during the investigation, police discovered blood on the circuit breaker.
Oh.
So either people were misremembering, and either Steven or Christopher went down there, or
Quinn had blood on his hands.
Quinn had blood on his hands,
Yeah.
and that means he had to be close enough.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
I don't think he was checking for a pulse or anything.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't think either of those 2 are more, you know. I think they're both way more involved than they admitted, and that they just sold their friends out to cover their asses.
Yeah.
Steven and Christopher really wouldn't talk about it, so, like, they weren't there to, like, sell any, you know, they weren't there to, like, take any guilt off of themselves.
Yeah.
They'd be like, yeah, fuck, we did it, you know. While in jail...
What'd they get, did you say?
We'll get there.
Okay.
So, while in jail...
Calm down, Joel.
Steven would brag about what he had done. He even wrote poems about it.
Oh, fuck this guy.
So Steven was found guilty and sentenced to life without the possibility
Guilty
of
of being
parole.
lame.
No, yeah, Steven's
Not awesome. Not awesome at all.
So, Christopher Gribble, he also pleads guilty, or not guilty, but he does it by reason of insanity. So while he's on the stand, the prosecutor asks him, "When were you legally insane?" He looks really puzzled, and he replies, "When was I legally insane? Well, technically, I'm legally insane now. I mean, that's what my defense is." The prosecutor then asks him, "You're a careful criminal, right?" And he kind of thinks for a second, and then he just says yes. So...
How were you insane then?
Yeah.
Insane people, I don't think, would, try to burn the
be
clothes.
Careful.
Yeah.
So at a pretrial competency hearing,
If you're insane in the inbrain, you're insane in the inbrain.
He told the judge that he was diagnosed with antisocial personality disorder. He said that he had been taking Prozac, but had stopped and had not been receiving any treatment at the time of the attacks. He also told the judge that he was abused physically and emotionally when he was young. So just got to throw in there some, it's not my fault.
Yeah.
People said that Christopher had always been a weird guy that couldn't read social situations very well at all. He'd make awkward sexual...
Hey! That's not like the worst.
He'd make awkward sexual advances on people, and they clearly didn't want that. Him and Steven were friends when they were younger. They were in Boy Scouts together, but they kind of drifted apart. They had only kind of recently begun hanging out again, and that's when everybody started seeing, Christopher really start to turn darker.
Yeah.
So,
kind of like they brought it out of each other.
Yeah. So while on trial,
we bring the best out of each other.
Yeah, we've never once, planned a murder.
No. Wink.
Well, that wasn't video game chord related.
You said what you said. We haven't done it. We're good boys.
Look, we almost could have killed a guy.
Yeah.
So while on trial, the prosecutor asked Christopher if he was a dangerous guy. Christopher replied, "Yes, I can be dangerous." The prosecutor then questions, "The people in jail with you have no idea how dangerous you are, do they?" Christopher then gets a huge smile on his face and says, "No, they do not."
Oh.
And he goes, "I smile because it's funny how none of those people in there have any idea of who they're messing with." The prosecutor replies with,
"I attack women as they sleep. Don't mess with me if you're going to be a woman in bed asleep."
That's right.
I'll get you.
And be really asleep.
Yeah.
And I'm going to take the power out so you can't even see.
Yeah. Yeah, big guys in jail that pick on me. Take that.
Yeah.
Boo this man.
During his trial, Christopher's therapist testified that Christopher did not have mental illness, but that he did display some traits of having a mental illness.
Okay.
Yeah.
I read your doctor jargon.
He doesn't have it. Sure. There's a lot of signs, and he shares a lot of the traits.
He could have it.
But he doesn't.
But he doesn't have it. But he could.
And that he seemed to be on the road to having a mental illness.
All right. Almost there. He has 9 out of 10 holes punched on his card.
Yeah, I think, was worth about 30 punches.
Yeah, this punched his card for sure.
So, during his trial, she stated that he had told her that he had thoughts of killing his parents, and that he was concerned that he may become a serial rapist. But apparently she still didn't feel like he had a mental illness. But look, he's still mostly normal.
Look, it's New Hampshire. Live free or die, okay?
So while he had never been technically diagnosed with any disorders, it did seem that he was certainly at risk of causing harm to himself or others. But prosecutors argued that he was very aware of what he was doing during the attacks. While on the stand, when questioned about the possibility of being placed in a psychiatric unit and one day being released from it back into society, Christopher stated that he thought it was highly unlikely that he would ever be released again, but he did know that it was a possibility if he was put into a psychiatric unit, and that if he was released, it was very possible that he would kill again.
I can't say I won't do it. I mean, if you want the truth,
a witness from inside the jail testified that Christopher had hopes of being released from prison within 6 years for good behavior, and by way of the insanity defense. So he was already making plans to get out, and he already said that he'd probably kill again.
Fuck this little fucking bastard.
The insanity plea didn't work.
Good.
And Christopher was found guilty. At his sentencing, the judge presiding over the case stated that infinity was not enough time for Christopher to be held in prison.
Yeah.
He was sentenced to life without parole. He never once showed any remorse or guilt for what he had done, but he does constantly complain about the quality of his life in jail.
Oh,
poor little baby.
Poor little Steven.
All 4 are still in jail today.
Good.
Autumn Savoy pleaded guilty to hiding evidence and was sentenced to 5 to 12 years in prison. He was released on parole in 2015. So it's very likely that these 4 would have been caught,
Uh-huh.
pretty, I don't think they would have made it long.
Yeah.
But I do think that it's also very likely that Kevin Fenton most likely saved someone's life. Because they kill 2 people. They think 2 people.
Yeah.
They're bragging about it. They're talking about
But
it.
they said they didn't get the high they wanted.
2 of them talked about doing it all the time. So,
Yeah.
I feel like they would have just kept her, more that day could have happened.
Maybe kill the 2 that supposedly weren't involved.
Maybe.
I've seen it in movies.
So, yeah, at least that kid stepped up.
Kyle, right?
Kyle Fenton.
Kyle, if you're listening, buddy.
Kevin
Kevin.
Fenton.
Fuck you, Kyle. Kevin, man. Good job, Kev.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, it's a terrible story.
Life's awful.
What's her name? Jamie.
Yeah.
She was 11 at the time.
Uh-huh.
And we figured out it was 12.
2009, so 13 years ago.
So she's 24 now.
Yeah.
Best I could tell, there was a little video with a news story.
She's listening. Good job.
She's doing great.
Good.
She runs a charity in the name of her mom.
Yeah.
So, or that gives
and I hope those guys in jail just have the worst time.
Yeah, I hope.
I hope they're not making Laffy Taffy in jail.
I hope Christopher is getting punched in the face daily.
And Steven.
And Steven for sure, but
Yeah.
Christopher I don't know why, but I watched the trial footage.
Uh-huh.
And Christopher just needs.
He's got a punchable face.
Steven just kind of seemed what the fuck ever, man. He doesn't care what's going to happen. Christopher, I feel like he would really.
Let's punch Christopher then. All right.
So, all right, we're going to take a break. We're going to go punch Christopher.
Ads.
Please say it through the ad break. We'll be
I
right
like
back.
being funny. I'm fucking ready.
That was perfect timing.
Yeah.
We're back.
Hey, do I have too many pins on my jacket?
I don't think you have enough pins.
Seriously?
You have a whole other side that could have pins.
Okay, so you don't look at that and you're like, just give it a break, pal.
No, I get lost in what they are.
Okay. That's not too many.
I mean, to me, no.
All right.
Is that Young Guns too?
No.
Oh.
That's Bridesmaids.
Oh.
And the Skeletor and I won't say them all. That looks like 69
What's
there.
Bridesmaids?
The band with 2 bass players and 2 drummers. We went and saw them.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I bought the records for had a record player.
I forgot their name.
Yeah, okay. That's why I put it on, because I just, instead of packing Wednesday night, I was like, what else I should do with my time? Put some buttons
pins
on.
on.
Yeah, get throw my pins and see which ones I want to put on my
just
jacket.
fill the back of it up.
All right.
Just be clanky as you walk.
I am pretty clanky just with that.
Yeah. All
But
right.
then people also want to read me.
Clanky Joel.
Clanky Joel.
Yeah, I mean, you have
Stop
tattoos.
with the whole Clanky Joel.
People want to read you now because you have tattoos, so
Yeah,
it's already.
I know.
Yeah.
Lady was like, "Oh, I see you got," because it's right around Halloween. She goes, "I see you got Halloween tattoos." And I was like, "Oh, they're kind of all the time tattoos."
Right. My favorite is when somebody will that you don't know will move your grab you and move your arm around to read. Love it. Just love it.
You're there for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Totally love it when people just grab me.
Oh yeah.
And
You hear that out there?
I can't just punch
So
them.
if you see Cash, just grab them. Just grab them in the biscuits.
So just grab them in the business.
Diesel Underground. Shout out.
So we got a couple stories about a couple of very odd birds.
All right.
I guess you'd call them. First one's really not that funny, but also
It's about me?
It's why the fuck would you do this?
Yeah.
There was a lady named Jewel Shooping.
That's pretty close to my name.
Jewel Shooping. She was 30 years
like,
old.
hey, what's Joel doing tonight? And they're like, Joel's shooping.
Oh, he's shooping.
He's shooping to the dooping.
She was 30. She was from North Carolina, and she had dreamed
North Kakalaki?
North Kakalaki.
Oh man, that's if I move anywhere, watch out, North Kakalaki.
Everybody,
I'm coming to you.
Why does everybody from West Virginia go to North Carolina?
I don't know.
And vice versa.
Or Myrtle Beach.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Weird.
I love the North Kakalaki.
I don't mind it. I like it.
All right.
Yeah.
Me and you, when we get older, that's what we're gonna do.
All right. They got Bojangles down there.
Move down to North Kakalaki.
Have Bojangles for breakfast.
Start our lives over, Cash.
As long as there's Bojangles involved.
Okay. That's all it takes, Bojangles.
That place. Actually, the last time I went there, because we used to have one here
Yeah.
in town, and I loved it. The chicken biscuits are the best things ever.
I've never eaten there.
It's amazing. Well, I say that, but then we got the one here turned into Wendy's in Vienna. My grandpa for a while moved to North Carolina, and like I went down there and they had him again. I was like, oh, thank God.
Thank God.
So I didn't have him then.
I'm not a religious person, but Bojangles.
I feel like he did one thing.
Oh, thank you, God.
Then, so we, I eat them there. Then for years I don't have it. I'm always like, I just want fucking Bojangles. Like, so
it's a fun name to say.
Yeah. So I go on a trip a few years ago with an ex to Kentucky, and the whole time I'm telling her,
yeah,
on our way back, we gotta stop Bojangles.
The whole time you're just fucking jangles.
You know, like I can't wait.
Where's our relationship going? It's going to Bojangles, bitch. Aren't you listening?
I already found the one that was gonna be like on the way back. I'm so pumped for it. You know, and I'm like, you're gonna love it. Like, it's so good. We get it. It was dog shit.
Oh,
like mine was awful. I can just tell by the lack of like dancing from her that hers wasn't great either.
The silence the rest of the way home.
It's
so like promising that dick, you know. You're like, oh, you're gonna get it. Wait for it tonight. And then like 30 seconds later, like you're all bojangled out.
She's on her phone scrolling. So yeah.
So anyway, this lady, North Carolina.
I forgot what we were talking about. So she's always dreamed of being blind.
Wait, what? She's always dreamed.
That was the exact response I wanted.
She's always dreamed of being blind. Like she's working towards it. She like closes one eye at a time for an hour, and then she'll do the other.
She's 30 years old.
That's her goal.
She's just always dreamed of being blind. So she one day decides.
That seems like one of the easiest things to achieve if you really have the heart for it.
Like, just wear eye patches.
Yeah.
Just
close your eyes.
Get 2 eye patches.
God.
She pours drain cleaner in her eyes.
All right.
And she got what she wanted. So now that we've laughed and joked, she has body integrity identity disorder.
Oh.
A condition in which able-bodied people believe they are meant to be disabled. Her desire to lose her sight was so strong that she decided to blind herself.
I did not see that coming.
She did not pour the drain cleaner in her own eyes.
What if she set up one of those Ruth Goldberg machines?
Oh, man.
It was like bloop blop, bleep, 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 bleep,
bleep.
And she's just laying there and she's watching it come closer and closer. And then like the balloon pops and like fucking, that's the last thing she sees.
I'm trying to think of the music from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids going.
Oh, yeah.
The machine was going. Like, I'm sure it was like bouncy. So she had a sympathetic psychologist pour the drain cleaner in her eyes. So, like, whoever the psychologist was working with her decided they would help her blind herself.
Okay.
Hopefully that psychologist gets their license.
I'm just trying to help people achieve their dreams. Can you explain it further? No, I can't.
She says that her fascination with blindness began early in childhood. She said her mom would find her walking in the halls at night when she was, like, 3 or 4. And it was, like, really dark.
Yeah.
She said by the time she was 6, she remembers thinking that being blind would make her feel more comfortable. She said that she'd spend hours staring at the sun, just watching sunspots and solar storms, hoping that like it would do the job.
Yeah.
When she was a teenager, she started to wear thick black sunglasses, got a white cane before she became 18, and started using it.
Because she had trouble walking, right?
And then
it was a C&I cane.
Yes. And then she became fully fluent in Braille by the age of 20.
Oh.
She went
hardcore, yeah. You know, that reminds me as a kid, like, I used to just wrap shit around my eyes, and I would just, like, walk through the house blindfolded to pretend like I was blind.
Oh.
And my parents fucking hated it, because I'd be knocking shit
out.
But I did that.
It would be very aggravating.
But, I mean, I knew when to stop, you know?
Right.
Because too much of anything is not good.
Like, you just wanted, like, to dip your toes in.
Dip my toes in blindness a little bit. And I like that too because like all your other senses become alive. So I kind of get it on a small scale.
Very small.
Yeah. But like I wasn't staring at the sun. I mean, I was because I was really dumb, you know, and I was like,
not because.
Not trying to blind
like
myself.
The reason like Donald Trump looked directly
I'm just, it's like, oh, bright, you know?
Yeah. So she.
I'm gonna blindfold myself before I drive home tonight.
I mean,
I'm gonna dip my toes. Yep, I'm gonna dip my toes back in.
So she finds a psychologist that's willing to help her out, and she does what she needs to do in 2006. So I guess the psychologist, they were able to get their hands on numbing eye drops. Put a couple of those in each eye, and then took just a couple drops of drain cleaner.
If you're listening at home, we do not recommend you try this.
No, not at all.
Okay, we don't do a lot of PSAs or like any sort of, not really PSA, I can't think of the right word, like warnings or whatever, but don't try this.
Just as a general PSA, anything you hear on this podcast, I wouldn't do in real life.
Yeah.
Is what I
mean, if you want to walk around your house, pretend to be blind like that, you know, give it a shot.
Yeah, sure.
But just like I said, know when to stop.
Right.
Sometimes when you can't see that you have a problem.
The psychologist may end up facing prosecution for this.
They haven't decided yet. It's 2006 and they're still fucking.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Or no, so I probably just think, bother updating.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What's her name?
Middle Aged Mediocre. We got the facts.
Jewel did admit that it was extremely painful.
Yeah.
Just hurt like the Dickens, you know.
I wish I would have just done the blindfold thing.
She said that her eyes were screaming and that she had some drain cleaner going down her cheek, like burning her skin the whole time. All she could think though was, "I'm going blind. It's going to be okay."
Oh yeah. Everything will be okay.
The medics they ended up getting her. They tried to save her vision against her wishes, but it was too late. There was permanent damage. It took about 6 months for the full effect to take. She said that her delight at being blind ended up being a disappointment because one day she opened her eyes and she could still see.
Oh man. So hey Jewel, if you're listening, then basically that's all you do now.
She said
she couldn't see light probably,
but over time her eyesight began to diminish.
Thank goodness.
And now she can't see. So
this is the weirdest fucking story.
The body integrity identity disorder, a person just decides that the way they look does not match their physical form.
I've heard of that before. Yeah.
It's the condition affects a small percentage of the population, most often manifested by a desire to have an amputation of a specific body part.
That's where I've heard of that.
Usually the limb that the person would like to remove is actually in healthy working order, and there's no physical problems with it. The leading thought by psychologists and neurologists is that this condition occurs when the brain is not able to provide an accurate plan of the body. The brain sees the offending limb as being foreign and not actually part of the person, thus the desire to have it removed. In the most severe cases, a person with this disorder may do bodily harm to what they would like to have removed. That way, like, it forces doctors to do an operation. Others manage to cope with the illness by using canes and prosthetic attachments to help them feel complete. So, yeah, I had never heard of it, but still, like, blinding yourself, that's hardcore. Because, again, just wear a couple eye patches.
Yeah, it sounds like that's kind of how she started. You know, the dark sunglasses, the cane.
Wasn't enough.
Yeah.
Still knew it was a lie to her.
It's like permanent makeup, you know? I don't know.
So I asked this next question knowing the answer.
Okay.
Do you remember...
Nope.
Okay.
The first episode with that ghost goat?
You can't remember the thing that you said in the first episode.
I came up with it?
That you came up with.
Wow.
That is also in our intro.
Yeah, man.
So, do you remember us talking, I believe it was in the What's Going On period of our podcast, when we talked about a woman who created a son from yarn.
I do not remember that.
So, this woman, she got kind of popular real quick online for this. She made like a life-size version of her son out of like yarn.
That's not sad at all.
And she said she did it because her kid didn't want to like snuggle with her anymore.
Yeah.
So she made this. Got tons of attention. She came out and said, "Everybody needs to quit taking this so seriously. I literally did this as a joke."
Yeah.
And then a few years later,
Did the yarn boy kill her?
that would be amazing.
Man.
A few years later, her husband ends up. They get divorced. Wonder why. And she ends up like making a exact
Yarn husband?
a yarn husband, and like poses them in all these like crazy positions. So
he's doing the dishes.
She's kind of made it her thing. Like she's like internet famous now because of this.
Okay.
So I figured, well, that's the only time we'll ever have a news story about a person that makes
people out of yarn.
Sure. No. There's a new one. There's a new one.
All right.
So
I can't wait to forget about this one.
Yeah. So this lady, her name, I'm not going to try to pronounce that first name.
Okay.
So we're going to call her, Mary.
Mary.
Yeah. She is a Brazilian woman, 37, and
got that ass?
I don't know.
Okay.
Probably.
Probably wasn't there.
I don't know if the price is worth it for this one. So she's heading into the holidays. She's not, and she's single. She's not really loving it. So she makes a life-size ragdoll named Marcelo.
Oh. Is it all rags?
So she's now saying though. So she makes this, ragdoll. They're in a relationship.
Ragdoll.
They get They get married.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're official.
Made an honest woman out of her.
They get married, but she is now claiming that Marcelo, the doll, cheated on her, and the relationship is on the rocks. She said, "I was very sad, and I could barely sleep because I love my husband so much, but he denied the betrayal." She says that they had a huge wedding a year ago. They had 250 guests in attendance. She keeps everybody up to date on TikTok about this. The video where she talks about feeling sad and not being able to sleep on TikTok at the time of the story had over 4 million views. So
what in the actual fuck?
This now you don't have to do anything to earn fame.
Just be a crazy person.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a crazy person. I'm pretty lonely. I could yarn something up.
He says
I have that skeleton. I could just dress it in women's clothes.
Throw some yarn on it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Or
his name's Barry right now, but I could change that. I mean, nothing wrong. I mean, I'm just not. If I'm going to make a pretend person to be in a relationship with, I would prefer it to be a female pretend person.
Okay. I'm glad you have standards.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, that's just my preference.
You're old fashioned.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, she says that Marcelo, the doll, was texting another woman. She found out through a friend. She says, I found out through a friend.
I mean, this lady sounds like a catch.
Yeah. Yeah. I found out through a friend who told me that she saw Marcelo entering a motel with another woman while I was hospitalized for 3 nights and 3 days with Marcelino, our son, also a ragdoll.
Oh.
Who had a virus. At first, I thought she was lying, but then I started looking through his phone, and I saw the conversations, which made me sure he was cheating.
If you gotta look through your significant other's phone, it's already done.
Already over.
It's over.
Yeah.
Just don't even.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, I don't trust you. I want to look through your phone. Like, all right, well, it was a good run.
Yeah, that's when
you're fucking crazy, and I'm gonna go ahead and go.
Game, it's over.
Yeah. Ask me anything you want, but especially if it's not a real person. I mean, this is what we call
look, you're not even real. How do you have trust issues?
Yeah.
Marcelo denies everything.
He's real tight-lipped about it. Why won't you just say something? He just sit there with that stupid look on your face.
He told her he loves her. He loves her very much. He asked for forgiveness.
He would never string her along.
And he cried.
Because he's made of yarn?
Yes, that was good.
All right,
she said that their argument was so ugly that it scared their son, who kept screaming and crying. So she shouted to Marcelo, "Do you see what you've done?"
Imagine being her neighbor. You live in an apartment. You know that she lives by herself next door, and she's like doing the voice for Marcella too. I didn't text anybody. You're the only one for me.
Wow.
What you doing to our son?
She says that she has forgiven Marcelo.
Oh man,
it
is a happy ending.
She did consider kicking him out of the house. But
he can't walk.
But she decided, I guess, in the end, she said, I wanted to put him out of the house, but our baby is growing up, and at this stage, he would miss his father a lot. Also, the love I feel for him made me forgive.
Listen, girl.
Not completely, but I don't think I could live without my husband.
Listen, girl. All right, kids important, but sometimes you got to take care of yourself.
That's right.
You can only do so much for the children, and the children's going to grow up knowing that you and Marcella don't really have a true love.
Because one's
yeah, but also, like, come on, girl.
Yeah.
Do something for yourself.
But then, when that kid is thinking that kid is also like, am I just a rag doll?
So it complicates things a little bit.
Do I have a soul?
Am I a real boy?
Yeah. So that kid's got other problems.
So many.
It's not going to matter what happens with his mom and dad.
Oh my God, what a crazy! And someone made a news story out of this.
Well,
hot off the presses. Where is this at? Did you say where this is at?
Brazil.
Brazil. That's right.
It's in Brazil. Her name is. See if you know how to say this.
Doesn't fucking matter.
Meirivone. Marie-Livon.
I don't
there
know.
It was. Marie-Livon.
That's it. I can't do better than that.
I got it. Okay,
Jeez.
so.
Well, if you're listening at home, make me a wife.
Hey, Joel needs somebody. Has to be female, he said. That's what he said.
That's just what I prefer, okay?
I'm not judging you.
Yeah.
I'm letting the people know.
Okay,
if they're going to make
you.
one, make it a female.
Please.
So, I was telling you I had something happen last night.
Oh, yeah.
That I want to talk about.
Uh-huh.
So we've talked about, my weird sleep shit, right?
Oh, yeah.
Sleep paralysis. I have very, very vivid dreams.
I want to study you one day.
There was once that I believe I had an out-of-body experience. I think I told you that story.
Yeah.
A bunch of weird sleep shit.
The podcast.
So, last night, I'm sleeping, and unbeknownst to me, this was just a very vivid dream, but I felt very real to me. I woke up because I heard somebody come in my room, and this guy walks in. It's this room that we're sitting in. It's not like I was picturing it, like I'm in a whole different place.
Yeah.
No, I'm in this room, right?
You saw the Vader toy figure.
I see the Vader. I look at it. I go,
you check that first.
Joel hasn't got it yet.
There's Vader.
The guy walks in. He's 40-ish, about my height, probably 250 pounds, wearing a WVU hoodie, has a goatee, and short hair. He looks like somebody he's not anybody I know. But he looks like somebody that maybe I know as a kid now.
They say you only dream of people that you've met in real life.
So this guy looks like.
That's what I've heard. Anyway.
Yeah, because you usually can't. Your brain usually can't make a face.
Yeah.
So he looks like somebody I know now that is a younger person. But he looks like the older version.
All right.
If that makes any sense. So, as he walks into my room, he slowly he kind of looks around and he slowly pulls this pistol out. And holds it on me. And
I'm gonna say so far he sounds like a good boy, but this he does it now and no longer.
He pulls this pistol out on me, and he's kind of eyeballing around as he's has the pistol aimed directly at me, and I can't fucking move. I'm paralyzed. I can't fucking move. I can't say anything. I'm trying to push myself up on the bed. Just
you pussied out.
Pussied out,
dude.
My body went
grow a pair, okay? Paralyzed. Dude's pointing a gun at you.
So he says, as he's kind of walking a little bit closer to me, but kind of like angling away. He says like, let's just get this done. Like, don't move or something like that.
Yeah.
And I said, like, I looked at him and I go, Mike? And then I wake up. And, like, I snap out of it.
Yeah.
And, like, I kind of, like, as I snap out, like, almost, like, push myself up out of bed because I thought he was there.
Yeah.
So, like, but yeah, I have no fucking clue. Like,
wow.
So, Mike,
if you're listening.
I've been, like, running through my head of, like, every Mike
Josh
I know.
Alone. Yeah. My cousin Mike, was it him?
No,
he doesn't have a goatee.
No, he's not 250 pounds.
No, he's not.
So,
well, if it was Mike with, like, someone else on his shoulder, it had to be, like, a small person, though. Like, maybe Lily on top of Mike's shoulders.
But, like, I might have witnessed my death.
Wow.
I might have been me seeing my death.
Talking shit on West Virginia and somewhat fan in WV hoodie.
But I know him. It's Mike.
Just move, man. You gotta at least try to move.
I gotta kill every Mike I meet.
Oh, yeah, Terminator and shit. My middle name is Michael.
Yeah, that doesn't count.
Oh,
I wouldn't call you Mike.
Okay.
So,
man, like 6th grade, I was like, I'm gonna go as Mike, but then I had a cousin named Mike, and everyone's like, oh, you're Joel, though.
Yeah. I like your cousin. I don't know many other Mikes that I've ever, like, well, being
and I'm the only person that calls him Mike. Everyone else calls him Michael.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, I mean, people that, like, I introduce him to might call him Mike.
Michael.
Like when you think about him, you know, like every night before you go to bed, do you think of Mike or Michael?
Mike.
Okay, yeah.
He's Mike. He's
you're like,
Mike.
thank you, Lord, for Mike.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lord, for Joel.
Thank you, Jesus, for cousin Mike.
He's a good boy. And Joel,
and Joel is a good boy as always. Amen and praise Jesus.
Praise Jesus.
Then I clap.
You just fall right to sleep.
Well,
That's crazy, though. Yeah, that's really fucking crazy.
Yeah. So if I die anytime soon, and it's because I got shot in my bed, which is gonna suck.
I'm gonna tell you right now, though, I'm gonna avenge you for at least a day or two. If I don't solve it, like, after 3 days, I don't think it's meant to be solved.
Well, I think to avenge me, you only have to, like, avenge one person. Like, you only have to, like...
Yeah. I'll try to avenge you.
Oh, so you're gonna, like... Your avengement period will be like,
yeah.
If it doesn't happen within those 3 days.
Yeah. Because past the weekend. I mean, I might give it that weekend. So if it's like a Friday, we're working on a real short window.
Right.
So try to get dealt with like on a Monday or a Tuesday. And that'll give me a couple more days to kind of get my wheels going underneath me, you know?
Okay. I'll do that.
So it's going to be early in the week and after 8 o'clock so you can get your shows in.
Yeah.
Your power hour.
Oh, I swear to God.
Hey, Mike, can you give me a fucking second? Double Jeopardy's about to start, buddy.
Look, all I need to see for Final Jeopardy is a topic. I may not even care.
Let me see the topics.
That's it.
And then, maybe you can shoot me then. If not, let me finish the show.
You know how, like... the word, like, from that last night, I have realized now, like, my new biggest fear is, like, being in that situation where it's just like, well, I'm fucked.
Yeah.
Like,
there's so many shootings.
Hopefully the dude's not going to shoot me in the scrotum.
Yeah.
But because we talked about how that would be one of the worst ways to go.
Don't want that. I don't want shot at all. So you got to move.
Okay.
Don't be a standard.
Well, I was thinking, it's funny you brought up the Rube Goldberg machine, because I was thinking I needed to maybe build something to where, like, if somebody opens that door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they had to stand really still.
Being captivated.
They watch it. Oh, yeah. You see one of those.
That's the thing about those machines. They have to be captivating.
Yeah.
Because if not, like, they got to hold attention spans.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know if I want to work these days in this crazy social media life. You're going to see
so many people in West Virginia hoodies. Around
Not going to trust any of them. Never have, really.
No.
So it won't be much different.
Damn.
Okay.
Mike.
So, if I end up dying, just let the cops know. Look for a dude named Mike.
I'll give it a couple days, see what I can do.
Yep. I mean, it should take you, like, all of, like, an hour to call the police.
Like, I'll grab Vader, just out of respect.
Yeah. Okay.
You know.
Well, I will say...
With a tear in my eye, too, though.
I will make it publicly known on this podcast. If I am shot to death in my bed, you, Joel, can have my Vader figure.
Oh, yeah!
There you go.
And I'll have an alibi, too.
Now, only if I'm shot to death in my bed. There's no other...
That's the only way?
If I, like,
All right.
So...
I'll take it.
Also, don't forget, I am setting up a Rube Goldberg.
Hell yeah! So... I didn't even know about it!
Yeah.
God.
All right. Well, you got anything else before we get out
Yeah, I
of here?
brought the one story for you that you had
you
to
did
look
bring
up.
the one story.
Kind of. I was like, hey, I heard this.
You brought me the general
will you
idea of the story.
You look it up? And...
We're talking about, we were talking about inner monologues.
Yeah.
And how common they are.
or more uncommon,
You
actually.
kind of thought that everybody,
Oh, yeah.
and I have an inner monologue. Same thing with me.
Like I said, ever since I was a little kid, I just, like, it just never stops in my head.
And I
like,
always
just,
kind of assumed that it was just everybody
Yeah.
has this. Turns out, psychology professor Russell Hurlbert reports that 30 to 50% of people have an inner voice. So only 30 to 50%. Yeah. We're in the elite.
High five. I had an inner monologue before I high-fived you. I was like, okay, get your hands square, goddammit.
We can't mess
I was like, I don't want to, like, get, like, just, like, 20% of my hand against your hand.
I totally saw it.
Because I don't want you to feel bad about it. If I messed up, you'd be like, oh, was that on me? And it was obviously me. So I didn't want you to think it was on you. So, man, you got to warn me about these high fives. We got to, like, work these in, okay?
How did we both process so much information in a split second?
I don't know.
I read you as you were doing it.
I was like, ugh. Man, whew, I'm so glad that was about 80% high five too. I felt like, it was more better than it was bad.
We
but
both
it could have been a little better.
kind of pulled back. We both kind of changed our minds at the peak.
Everybody's so unsure about it. Like, are we really high-fiving?
But then it was just...
That was our inner monologue.
You were
So then people can just high-five without thinking about shit like that.
That's what we're... Like, so there's just people that are just driving to places.
Yeah, they have the one thought, like, I need to go here.
Grocery.
Yeah, they're grocery. Like, what is it? Like, it's not even music, because that's what it said, too. Like, inner monologue also is like, music playing, or
so
like...
it says, like... some of the signs of people that have inner monologue, they talk to themselves, they get songs stuck in their head, they replay favorite podcasts or movies like in their mind,
like middle-aged and mediocre.
I play movies out in my head all the fucking time.
Last night I like had to trick my inner monologue. Like last night it was like when I get closer to big like wrestling events like Survivor Series.
Yeah,
but I was thinking Royal Rumble last night though. Even the Survivor Series is tonight. Like, I was like, I'm going to do a Royal Rumble in my head. That's what I do. I play on a Royal Rumble in my head. They're all like old ones.
That's kind of, so they rehearse in front of an imaginary audience.
What? So there's people there.
Yeah, I do want to know, what are people without an inner monologue, which is the majority.
And like, I'm joking, but like, I don't know if I would want that or what the hell my brain is.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, mine. I think I'd rather have what I have.
Yeah, I think so too. It just kind of makes things.
It seems like it'd be boring without it.
Yeah, what the fuck are you doing? Oh man!
Now I want to ask everybody I meet. Hey, do you have an inner monologue?
That's such a weird thing to ask somebody.
But I really want to meet someone that doesn't.
Yeah.
So I can
just fucking study them. Put them in a cage. You be like, do you have one yet? Like, are you scared at all? Like, is there anything?
Cage,
like, walk in, like, just, like, naked and be like, what's happening?
Sit in cage.
What are you doing with your life?
It says critical inner...
Oh, mine's so critical.
Inner monologue is a common occurrence, though, if you catch yourself talking, blah, blah, blah. It says critical inner dialogue is not a bad thing, as it can help you achieve peak performance. Ours is not. It allows you to enhance your problem solving, self-reflection, and critical thinking skills.
I don't really write jokes anymore, but I've come up with so many, like, I just work them out in my head.
I feel like, though, if this is supposed to be helping us so much, we're not utilizing this correctly. Yeah, so that was interesting that it was less people than, like, again, I would have assumed basically everyone had one of these.
Am I only dealing with inner monologue people? And I just don't know any?
I wonder if there's a high amount of killers that don't have one.
Yeah. I'm so fucking interested, man. Like, I don't understand how someone can't just... How do you decide things? How do you get anything done?
Because with my inner monologue, for me to commit to committing a murder, good Lord. Like, I would never get there because I would be like, well, this is what you have to do. This is how I'd play it out a million different ways.
Yep.
But then I'd also start to be like, what if what if they see me and like talk to me? Like, what if they don't?
What if I say something stupid before I kill them?
I'll figure out, it is a social situation.
I mean, this is like super dark, but that's kind of like what keeps more suicidal thoughts out of my head too.
Yeah.
Because like I can't just think like, all right, want to die. Being dead would be awesome, but then I'm like, but then this person and this person and this person and
who's gonna find me with shit?
Yeah. And what if something? Yeah, it's just nope.
Yeah.
So maybe that's where it does help.
It's an interesting thing.
Yeah. Let us know.
Yeah. Do you have? Yeah. If you're listening out there, do you have an inner monologue?
Yeah. And if you don't, I mean, I'm not gonna.
If you don't, let us know because
cool.
I have questions.
Yeah. Just seriously, I have questions. Like.
Also, big thank you goes out to Ryan from the band Triceratops.
Yep, the drummer.
Yeah. So Triceratops is like our biggest friend of the show, basically, at this point.
Uh-huh.
Travis did a lot of the artwork. Ryan's been like promoting the hell out of our show for us. We had a huge increase in numbers.
He likes it. He invited a lot of people, a lot of friends on Facebook.
We had this huge increase. Why can't I say it?
I don't know.
Increase in numbers over this past few weeks. It's been a huge help. So if you are listening, if you're new to the show, we hope that you are checking out some of the older episodes too. We have, I think, like 100 and some at this point. Give us a like on Facebook, on Apple Podcasts if you're listening there. Review us, give us 5 stars.
Oh, yeah.
Just wherever you're listening, give it a like if you can. Share it with people. That'd be awesome of you. We'll have stickers available soon. I am looking into maybe possibly us doing a limited run of t-shirts. We are also looking into the possibility of doing a live episode in Marietta at the Monstrous Horde.
Where there's going to be a comedy show Friday, December 2nd. Joe Gant hosting, Carlin Haggerty.
Jacob Hall.
I just tried to combine closer and headliner. Headliner, Jacob Hall.
That's at 7?
7 o'clock, $10 at the door. If you want a table of 4 for $50, but you explained before.
You get beverages,
you get
and
drinks
snacks.
and snacks and foot rubs.
And foot rubs is according to Joel. That is not the official offer from Monsters Horde.
There's a little tiny disclaimer that foot
Joel
rubs
is
are
handling
not.
foot rubs.
I'm going to handle them.
So yeah, come check that out. But yeah, we're going to try to start doing some things. Thank you for everybody that's been listening.
Yes.
Again, please share, tell friends.
Yep.
Whether they like it or not.
Come to comedy.
Hey,
kidnap people and bring them to the show.
December 5th. That's next Saturday.
Yeah, Friday.
Next Friday.
The 2nd.
The 2nd.
I think you said the 6th.
December the 2nd. It's a Friday. Ignore everything I said a minute ago.
Man, you're going to be thinking about this for a long
Monsters
time.
Horde in Marietta,
you started
Ohio.
really bad, and now you're ending really bad.
Yep.
That's a cash sandwich right there. So meaty. It's so meaty in the middle.
So meaty.
Yeah.